Last session, we were escaping from Gastamere. It's in the northern Westerlands. If you don't know where that is, then you haven't been paying attention during this campaign, and you need to stop listening to this right now. We were escaping, having successfully rescued Leo Longthorn Tyrell, Lord of the Reach. It's something that we wanted to do because we're stupid. But we managed to recover him all the same, and we were fleeing with our entire enlarged posse, including knights from the Westerlands as well. We got into a fight. We fought some dogs. We fought some knights of the Westerlands. We fought some officers and crossbowmen, and we won. And we continued our escape further on to the southwest. Now, we had decided not to take the road or to take the mountains, but we were going to use one of our enlarged posse to get a ship, a longship from, what is the stupid elven pronunciation of this? Kais?
Keese.
Keese. All right. Yes, elven pronunciation. And so we went to Keese, and we got ourselves like an Iron Man, like Iron Islander longship. We all stowed ourselves away on the longship, and we rode on it, and it carried us safely all the way from the hanging limp penis of the Westerlands down south to the Mander, and we went up the Mander to Highgarden, where we successfully exfiltrated, and we succeeded in our mission along Thorn's back in Highgarden. Woo! He held a council meeting. His closest advisors and knowledgeable people were invited to attend, harangued about like war stuff. There's some beautiful arrows and circles drawn on the map. And ultimately, this group figured that it would be for the best if we as players personally went along with some dudes after like a moon, because the army needs time to gather, to Bitterbridge. Because as it turns out, the forces of the Blackfire are seeking to capture the Bitterbridge, and by doing so, cut off the King's troops in King's Landing from getting food and other supplies from the Reach, because the Reach is full of food and it feeds Westeros. And we said, that cannot be. And so that bridge that we're going to, it's pretty bitter. We're going to dunk it in some sugar, and it's going to be great. We're going to make Bitterbridge great again. And along the way, hopefully, the Dornish marches will not fall. The vultures have decided that their time is now, and they are pushing into the north. But hopefully some peasant levies and archers can gather and head on down there and shoot some Dornish men and have a good fall. That's pretty much where we left off last session, recuperating and biding our time and preparing or whatever it is that our characters do in Highgarden, waiting to head out towards Bitterbridge.
Indeed, what it is that your characters do in Highgarden. Because we begin this session with the sound of distant sort of bells echoing through a hall. We pan in and we see a sequence of people, most of you, kneeling in front of Lord Tyrell, once again swearing your knightly oaths. This time, however, the court of Highgarden is watching. It has clearly been a few days since we've last seen House Caladan. Each of you have embraced your knighthood in your own way. So why don't we go over what you look like now, as you kneel here in front of your lordly liege?
Good talk. All right, guys.
I think
Well
we
done.
should go from left to right.
Way to convey how your characters' appearances and any coat of arms have changed. Now that you've been knighted. You fucking peasant.
Sure, left to right. We'll begin with Ren.
I was actually changing back because I was like, who was actually on the left? I don't know. So I had to go check. Okay. Well, Ren, as he kneels before Lord Tyrell, definitely far cleaner than he was before the battle, actually having chance to, well, prepare himself for this, clear off the muck of travelling. and the blood of war. No longer is Ren merely going around in just his traveling outfit and the odd bit of cloth padding over the top, the minor protection he had before. He has taken to this idea of knighthood and tried to embrace it as much as he could. Well, at least as much as he could. Ren now kneels before him, dressed in a thin layers of interwoven metal ring armor. Around the leather embroidery around the edge, having small threads of gold and green to help signify his new position better. Over the top, he had a tabard showing his knightly crest that has been quickly sewn together by some of the people available here in Highgarden. Which
Do
I
you
have
have a picture of it? You can
Yes.
you can dump that down below your character. I'll like make them large and put a place for them down south. I'll take that.
No. Still.
To make it. I'll make it an object. How about that?
Ren is certainly giving off more confidence than he did before. Definitely embracing the position and having that sense now of, well, he is better than some people. He has a higher rank, at least in some. Most still outrank him. Most in the court around him may still be higher than him, but things can change.
Mm-hmm. And next to him, his brother.
Yeah. Kevin has certainly cleaned up as well. He is, the beard is a bit trimmed. He definitely washed off as well. He is wearing similar armor to his brother, all things considered. It is a ring armor, with his collars basically. That would be that shield, which is indeed similar, but slightly different to his brother, because after all, they are very much alike with this. He is, oh gosh,
Highgarden's earthquake.
Highgarden is moving. I mean, other than that, he has the same, slightly Dornish, slightly handsome attraction about him as always. He has had a whirlwind few days in Highgarden, basically trying to just find his footing in this place, which he has only visited once before, and it was very brief, and now it's even more chaotic. So I imagine he has been first of all, a lot of people trying to talk to him, and he doesn't really understand everything that's going on from that. And then him sitting in his room just staring ahead, trying to be like, what on earth even happened? And now kneeling in front of Leo Tyrell, he is certainly he is showing off the countenance of a young knight that is also fairly anxious to sort of prove himself. He will probably be sweating quite a bit from being nervous in this particular setting. If anyone has noticed him, they will also notice that he has gained more knightly garbs, like the tunic, surcoat with his knightly arms, as well as a horse with also some mail surcoat. He has a shield and a sword, which seems very. He doesn't seem unproficient, but it's clear that he doesn't really like wearing these symbols, much preferring his bow, which is still sort of slung across his shoulders. I think that's for Kevin.
All right. And next to him, we have Sir Varen.
Yes. Varen is looking slightly more pristine than he has been in the past. He has a clean shave, new haircut, he has taken a bath, and his armor is slightly shinier than it usually is. He has a proud look upon his face and is taking this quite seriously. But he's also got the look of him like he's trying to fit in and doesn't quite manage it, because this is a bit a big step up from what he's used to. He is also not as pale as he was during the travels. Some color has returned to his skin. And he also has a new coat of arms, which is a variant of the Caladan coat of arms, with a grey line. I do have the picture, but I don't have a token.
You don't need token,
Just
you
drop the
drag it in.
picture.
Okay.
No, I'll take care of it.
Probably gonna be quite big, I think.
No.
Oh, okay.
You're
It'll
a player,
become
so
token sized.
you're a player,
yes,
so it'll
yes,
force
yes.
medium size.
Right.
And
that's,
lastly, we have the Maiden Knight of Highgarden.
Who, since this has only been some days since we last saw them, is probably still intoxicated. John Milk of the Poppy.
They were kind enough to wait long enough for her to be okay.
Okay. All right. Well, seeing as all that happens, she doesn't have much in the way of new clothes or equipment, since her time in Highgarden has pretty much been spent in her own wonderful world. She doesn't have a new coat of arms. She hasn't really given that any thought. She is wearing one item of difference, though, and it is one that she is fully restored. It is a thick, long cloak made of black fur with white stripes, cut from a shadow cat.
Certainly getting a few jealous looks from noble ladies of the court for such a thing.
No, other than that, it is the still same placid, calm, and amiable Bree.
As this goes on, we sort of hear the words repeated, and it's all very knightly. And we look behind Lord Leo and see Sir Alaric standing there with the usual group of companions, sort of standing behind the high seat with their swords and shields and arms and whatnot. Each perhaps trying to look more stoic than the other. What goes through Alaric's mind as he sees this group of four taking their sort of vows in front of the court?
I think
How
in a
does he
sense,
see them?
Yeah, I think in a sense he sees them. He sees Varen as more family than before, and he definitely sees Kevin and Ren as a sort of family in their own right. I mean, we've all shed blood together, and does that not? That counts in its own way. And he's proud of the group that he took into the mountains and somehow managed to get them out, and then somehow managed to get into Castamere, and then somehow managed to get out, and he's proud and impressed with the group as a whole. He too also had a bit of a armor upgrade, having it gilded with flames on the chest piece, so he always looks wreathed in flames now. But he definitely looks happy.
I noticed there was a conspicuous absence that we mentioned there.
I know.
So that can just be left alone to itself then.
That's it. Yep.
Alright.
Little mention, and that's it. Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
It's just a side note there.
We see the sort of a top-down view of the gathering, and there's golden rose petals being thrown, and we hear the clapping of the cord as we sort of pan away up through the roof, seeing the sun shining brightly on the reach above. Then we look down again, but this time not into a great hall or chapel, but instead onto the many flower fields of Highgarden. Once these were being tended to daily by many of the small folk living nearby, but now we see these men instead drilling in on the great tourney grounds. Provisions have been arriving daily, and so have sort of small clusters of men, a landed knight here, another one there, gathering what possessions they have and mustering as their liege lord commands. None of the great lords have arrived yet from the south, and the ones from the north, well, they will likely meet up with the host once it actually moves, preferring perhaps to keep their own garrisons high while they wait and see if Bitterbridge is saved or not. In time, that is. Would hate to send your men south only to have your home overrun in their absence. Still, the days come and go, and the Longthorn is still not really close to moving out, the host needing to be quite of a decent size in order for it to have a chance to challenge the host coming from the north and from the west. All of you, this now includes Bree, she's sobered up, have been called to multiple meetings where maesters have taken turns reading up all sorts of logistics. Little of it is interesting, except perhaps for Sir Alaric, who might be participating actively in the discussions of mustering. Today, as you go to the meeting scheduled, all perhaps expecting it to be boring, things are a bit different. As you enter the small meeting chamber, you see that Lord Tyrell is not sitting in his high seat as usual, but rather looking out, standing by one of the great rose-covered windows. Sir Ashford is sitting, biting his lip with his hand resting on his forehead, leaned back, sort of exhaustedly. You step into the room, it is dead quiet, and the tension is thick as a rock. The room is entirely silent. As you begin together, we'll have the meeting up here in the sky now.
Sky meeting.
These guys are not welcome. As people basically go in, we'll have a table over here. So Asher is sitting. As a few others move to sit down. Around the table. Do like that. The room is very quiet. People sort of moving in as Asher just sits there holding his forehead. Leo standing with his back turned, looking out the window. Sort of as the big people come in, the boards, sort of the castle creaks a bit, chairs squeak. That sort of one screechy sound that really breaks the silence in a very uncomfortable way. As people enter, Ashra, just sort of still looking into the table, says, "A message has arrived. Lord Caswell has lost half his men in an enemy raid that nearly took the keep. He asks for immediate reinforcements, or he will be forced to surrender the bridge to keep his home safe." There's a bit of additional quiet as Mr. Longthorn, perhaps waiting, mulling things over still, turns around and walks over, putting sort of his hands on the backrest of the chair, of the sort of high chair, so to speak. His usual sort of serene demeanor has a tint of sadness as he looks at you. "I'm sending you to Bitterbridge immediately. You will ride today, and you will see to it that Lord Caswell does not stand alone. We cannot expect him to face such a host, and not surrender if he is indeed without aid. You will be you and a handful of knights that I can spare, but most will be saved to ride with the main force. What I will expect of you here will be to hold the keep for long enough for us to defeat the Western force and reinforce it ourselves. Looks at you. Ashra, very sort of breaking perhaps with tradition and really with law, is shaking his head, clearly frustrated with the situation. Dorian swallows once. Manser even looks around at the rest of you. Cannot want to be the first one to say something. Eden Risley closes his eyes and nods slowly.
Are there any reports from the army coming from the east?
Looks at one, says, there is still some time before it will arrive. However, I fear that with this new raid, a force could push through one of the forts, as Lord Caswell is forced to bring some of his men home protecting them.
Where did the raid come from?
His letter says that he was surprised in the night. They managed to open his gates and raid one half of his keep. His men managing to rebuff the invaders, however, in time.
Kieran scratches the back of his neck. So either he has a back door, or there's a traitor.
Neil nods.
Kieran grimaces. Great.
Something we probably need to deal with then.
He sort of looks around the table. Pardon my ignorance, but it kinda, well, I mean, judging by everyone's mood, this seems to be a suicide mission, sort of. He looks around the table at all the grim faces.
Sasha nods.
Lara kind of smirks a little bit.
Ren just sighs like, you just said that?
He says,
Kiva looks like, what?
our cause is just, and I trust that you will make the right decisions in the field. You were able to do something I would not have thought possible, and I put my faith in that you can do so again.
Kiva keeps scratching back of his neck.
Beyond that, we simply cannot afford to lose Bitterbridge. Many thousands of lives will be lost. Our force greatly diminished if we have to fight these two armies combined. Ashra insolently speaks up at this point. He says, in short words, our lives are worth the risk. If we manage to win, good. If we fail, looks around. We are only 9 men. She looks up at Leo, who frowns but doesn't say anything.
Kievan, having stopped scratching his neck, says, if we're only 9, I mean, everyone gathered here are pretty much the best warriors I have ever seen and have the privilege to fight with, but we're only 9.
The same 9 who traveled deep into the Westerlands to recover Lord Tyrell from his prison in Castamere and return safely with all of us still alive.
Yes, Lady Bree, that is right. I mean, I know that. It's just we didn't really fight an army then.
Well, maybe if a small contingent can be sent with us, we might stand more of a chance.
Leo nods and says, a contingent will be sent, but these men will be sent to Bitterbridge only to be sent further north and south, spreading across into the forts to keep those safe. We cannot have a force crossing the river, even a small one, enclosing the castle completely.
How many forts are available?
There are 3 great forts, and I imagine quite a few smaller ones, though only the Caswells likely know about those ones.
Nods.
They are the guards of the forts, after all.
Well, let's hope that the traitor is not part of the main household then.
Not that, well, the main household is on their way here now as we speak, seeking the safety of Highgarden after the raid.
Oh.
Only Lord Caswell remains.
Kevin looks
Alaric
kind of shocked at this cowardice.
Alaric kind of
I
grimaces.
think what
at it
is
as well.
I think what is most likely is a bribed sergeant or some such.
Nods. Perhaps so.
Ashra shakes his head. She looks to all of you, clearly desiring for some of you to speak up, perhaps thinking that he has done what he could, or is out of line, perhaps. His eyes going, seeking out Alaric instinctively.
Ashra is out of line. I don't think he even could. He'll be like, I can't really say anything either here. Kinda. Longthorn is just looking at you like, you go. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going, buddy. Water compelled over here.
Running a hand through his hair, perhaps thinking of how he can get out of this.
Alaric
While,
kind of gives
even
the-
Manser is just mulling things over.
Ren has just been mostly sitting there for the most part, except for when Keevan's responded, just kind of tapping his fingers a little bit and clearly just thinking.
How many days are we expected to hold this fort?
You, Sedlin says, half a moon at least. I perhaps would expect a moon for the rest of our forces to arrive and for us to be able to make our way there.
That is a long time.
It is a long time in a place where they have already had their frontal gate broken once.
Nods.
So,
Oh boy.
looks slightly, again, saddened at you all. And then nods slowly.
Is there anything we could bring with us to give us an edge in this fight?
Says, you shall be welcome to have what you need if you have some plan.
Wildfire.
A
Will
thousand
solve a lot of
heavily armed men.
problems.
I was thinking.
We
something
have
like
access to
tunnel.
wildfire, kinda.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
then we
that's-
have to travel south first.
We would, yes.
Yeah, and it would take a half of the travel time that.
Yes, it's like, well, while you're here, why don't you just defeat the vultures?
Yeah.
As you were compelled by
the court of
Lord
Highgarden.
Vultures.
Well,
Your
Wildfire
highfalutin.
got captured. You have to go and
Oh.
take it from these vultures.
Yeah. I was thinking more like burning pitch or something like that.
Oh, they'll have that at the
We-
castle.
They probably have pitch
Yeah.
up there.
Bring more, cover the entire field in it.
There's a lot of
We
pitch,
don't want
though.
to destroy the landscape because
We're also not going to be able to haul all of that with our
No.
small group and still make it in enough time to actually prevent the place from falling. Like, you'd have to assume that they're going to have, like, defensive equipment there. They just fucking need someone with backbone to hold shit together, which is where
Yeah.
you come in, you bastard.
I mean, we just plonk Alaric and Baron at the gate, and that's that, right?
I mean,
This will hold.
and Ren as well in front.
You do that, and there's just
Red in
a lot of
front.
crossbow bolts. Like, you can't acrobatics your way through like 500 crossbow bolts simultaneously.
it's true. It's true.
Crossbow, shoot him!
Shoot the guy in the front that can dodge all of them.
Hmm.
Not the two idiots standing in the way.
Nods slowly and says, what you will require most is what I'm sure you all have and plenty. That is courage. The garrison there is strained thin, seeing, well, at least 10,000 men outside their gate. They are likely to be a few hundred at most.
Yay.
Says,
Vern twitches nervously.
these are, however, mercenaries from Essos. Their courage is not in this fight, and they're fighting for gold. Put up enough of a fight, and they might stay back for a while. As I understand it, it is Fireball who leads them.
Oh,
He has never been the most charismatic of men.
let's kill Fireball then. That sounds like a good idea.
So we're gonna sneak out and kill him.
Yes,
Who's
I
Fireball?
mean, obviously, if
Yes,
he
sneak
says
out.
that their morale is low, we try assassinations.
How are we gonna sneak out?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Not gonna be-
there's nighttime, right? I mean,
Tweedle
okay,
giant,
you two.
Tweedle
Nighttime!
giant.
Aha! It's nighttime in Highgarden.
It's always nighttime.
Fine, me and Ren can do it. Bree can come along. She's probably fairly sneaky. We can do
I
some.
She's
don't-
not the worst.
I don't
Yeah.
think sneaking.
She's as sneaky as I am, at least, if not better.
We can do some. Okay, we need to go there and we'll do some planning. But there's some damage that can be done probably.
We have to see what's there first.
Poisoning supplies, whatnot.
Who knows?
If only we had
Pretty good
Nima.
idea. Longthorn, do you have any poison we can borrow?
That might be a question. That might be a question you want to try sculpting to maesters
And
rather
Yes.
than
well, all
to
of your
Rahal.
knighthood goes.
Please note your vow of honor.
Yeah, your knighthood is now gone.
We'll discuss. Baron, you come over here with us. We'll discuss a few things
Yeah.
once these honorable people have left. All right?
You fucking kidding me? Just the mere thought of like asking fucking put you through this table.
Yeah.
Oh god. Hmm.
I expect that your rooms will be vacant by dawn. You can ask our quartermaster for what you might need. If those are rebuffed, you can speak to Sir Ashra. She then just sort of nods and says, "You have much to do. So do I." She'll take his step. He puts a hand on Ashra's shoulder, seeming a little weird as Lord Leo is very much younger than Ashra. He just sort of pats it twice before he leaves the room. Leaving the room sort of in a quiet.
Bree gives a puzzled look at Alaric.
Alaric kind of shakes his head a little bit and shrugs. Says, honestly, I think that mountains would be worse, but then again, finding 10,000 in the mountains would have been difficult. They'll be at the doorstep this time.
Better that than you falling down them.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
Alaric, how big is 10,000?
Alaric smiles and says, very big.
Big.
More men than we could fit in all of Caladan's households, and like outside of the castle it would spread for a while into the forests.
Bree's eyes, like the pupils, widen perceptibly. Oh.
So Ashra looks up, slightly hoarse-wise, and says, "Have you seen the... You have seen the Donish Mountains, Lady Bree. 10,000 would be as many..." He said, just then shakes his head, looking down again. Says, don't bother yourselves with how many it is.
Alaric
He
nods.
nicely sort of looks up and says, "Yeah, yes, Master Roos, as far as I understand, House Caladan has a good, 500 men?" He looks over and says, it is simply, just, you take that twice over, and then you have 10 times as many as that."
Bree now, like, imagining the army that, like, went to, like, Will to, like, fight, is now imagining something that big, or trying to. And her pupils widen again.
Yeah.
He sort of nods and says, "It shall be glorious to fight alongside you on the bridge, all of you. The gods have surely smiled upon us to give us such a chance."
Someone hit them, please.
Alaric gives him the look of, shut up, this is just not the time.
Dorian certainly gives himself a stink eye as well. As he just sort of mumbles something about having a wife, and
We all have family, goddammit.
Well,
Looks to my right.
Eden Riceley doesn't really.
No?
Neither does Mensa.
I mean, I only have one, and he's the archer next to me. So
Yep.
well, hopefully we won't have to fight all of them on the bridge at the same time.
Hopefully they don't have elephants.
What?
I don't
There's
think they'll have
Asher
elephants.
looks up and says, "They do."
Ah,
What?
guy.
Kevin blinks. What's an elephant?
Alaric grimaces. Says
Asher
something
looks
you
at you. You've
don't
seen
Husks.
Sir Alaric's horse, yes?
He nods. Yes.
Take sort of 4 of those and put them side by side.
Keep his eyes wide.
Bree like whips
Plated
her head.
in
like,
spiked armor, and he sort of shakes his head.
Baron tries to think back. Can't really get a
I thought the dragons were extinct.
Yeah, exactly.
Baron's probably seen elephants before. If he's ever been to Valentis, at least, they're everywhere there.
He's seen many,
And
I'm
he
sure.
probably has on his way to the slave pits. If you can see them fight, they are great tusked beasts. Men say that their hide alone is as thick as most mail armor, and the Valentine have a tendency to put more armor on there
Great.
to make them very, very difficult to pierce or hurt. The great beast known to be ridden into combat, simply allowed to move forward, to smash into enemy lines, be cut a little bit, and then go mad from the pain, thrashing around, destroying regiments and breaking cavalry charges. And I mean, there really are very few ways to deal with them. Hence, perhaps why the Valentis has very few other cities near it who are not under its control.
They are afraid of fire, though.
Wildfire.
They're terribly afraid of fire.
It's a pretty understandable fear. Yeah.
All right. If they're terribly afraid of fire, then that's something we can work with.
Bree looks over at Varen. But in the Alaric, surely not many of them could fit on a bridge, right? The bridge would break. Right?
I haven't seen this bridge, my lady. I can't say. Is it made of stone or timber?
Oh, it's made of stone.
Yeah.
It's the
Alaric,
reason
like-
this is the big bridge.
Yeah.
You could.
Yep.
Alaric thinks that he could probably fit like 3 Hugos on there, maybe.
3
Like,
Hugos.
Oh.
It's
Hugos
a
are
full
best.
measurement now.
I mean, it's big enough that they generally have enough that the transport isn't really bothered with by the size of it. There's a reason it's so important as a strategic location.
1, maybe 2 of Bristol. Elephants, that is.
Sure. No, it's
Probably
just
won't break, but it might take some damage.
there's a force of mercenaries, some Essos, that is true enough, but it is not just that. There's a core of Westerosi knights, likely going to be around the fireball, although I doubt he would charge himself. He's always been a lead from the rear sort of commander. But we can expect to see things that I, at least, has never faced. He looks over to Varen Flowers. You might be our best experienced knight for dealing with these threats.
Ver looks a bit stressed, seeing as he hasn't really fought them.
Perhaps he also has a flashback of all the strange things he's seen in the slave pits.
Yeah.
Just hundreds of different styles of fighting from hundreds of different cultures. And so this is a very diverse place.
Yeah. He suddenly then gets like a blank expression on his face and starts sweating a bit. Perhaps.
It doesn't seem to cheer Ashrop any further.
I haven't then ever fought any elephants myself. I would probably not survive the ordeal. At least not on my own.
She sort of slumps back in his seat a little bit again. Says,
From what I would think is you either scare them with fire or try to take them out from range with pikes or bows, crossbows.
Well,
can't
Seth
really
looks up, looks at everyone else, knowing that no one else has a pike.
Guess what?
So he really is more of a tawny knight.
At this point, Bree's eyes slide over to Manser, and that now that the blue screen effect has faded, she gets a conspiratorial look on her face now. Manser, he just said that no one's really been known to kill an elephant except with crossbows or with pikes.
Manser nods, just yeah. She looks to Eden. So I think we'll take them up on that.
I would not recommend fighting them up close.
He shrugs. We're knights of Westeros. That's what we do.
Vern
Looks down in the
panicked
floor.
and
Looks down to the table.
Bree looks at like Manser now, and she nods like even stronger. He's on the same page now.
Varen gives her a look like, what have you done?
She
Nod
beat the
slowly.
shadow cat to death, sir.
At least the place is well defensible with few men. He sort of moves a few, gestures, and I'll just paint here for you anyway, because it's much easier than me saying what he does. He'll sort of do a few gestures, sort of lines, like here for the river. I'll make that blue actually. It says the keep is well shielded from both sides. We should be able to hold the bridge without suffering much ranged fire from across the sides. See?
How do we get past the army, by the way?
We approach from the rear.
We don't. The army is on one side, we'll be on the other.
Yeah, they're coming from the east, right?
The west.
West. Okay,
They're
it is the
coming from
west.
Is it the
There
west or
are,
the east?
as we were told actually, there's now an army here. There's also an army like over here, coming this way. That is the army that Leo wishes to go and intercept.
That's what I mean, right?
I
It's
see.
the one on the
You-
east.
I thought it was the other way
You
around.
are asked
said
to
it
go
out.
here and hold that one until you can intercept it.
That's what I understood.
Alright. That makes things seem a little less suicidal, but still, that green cross still means 10,000 fucking men.
But if they only can go 3 Hugos abreast on the bridge,
Three
they can only then they can only put that many against us at the time.
Bree asks, isn't the road more important for the king's troops to be fed than for the Blackfire's army? What if they tried to destroy the bridge?
Sure nods. That's an astute observation. Indeed, a problem.
It is why we
The
cannot use
thought
it.
currently is that as long as their own forces have a significant size on the other side, they would rather try to link up with those and crush the army from the reach, rather than break the bridge and simply lose the men stationed over there, in addition to letting the Reachlanders, us, escape into the Westerlands to do havoc.
Do they have any ballistae or catapults?
Jesus. In the castle, they likely did.
God damn it.
However, the raid was, as such things are, likely said to take out their ability to respond effectively to a siege.
If they do have elephants, our priority might be to repair those.
It's not as if we have the engineers of our house with us, Varen.
But they might have some.
Ashra
Not
shakes
the
his
old
head.
kind.
Those are likely spread out across the forts, trying to keep them fortified enough that crossing would be a death sentence. Should a force be able to cross one of the crossings and come from the other side, it is unlikely that Lord Caswell would even stand for that to come to battle. If it did, his castle would likely burn. Most of Bitterbridge is on our side of the Manda. I believe that is why, for him, the bridge is the most important objective. As long as we hold the bridge, his keep is not in danger. Not much, anyway. It also seems unlikely, given that they have already raided the outer defenses, that they should desire to simply wait us out. They have undoubtedly heard of the muster at Highgarden and wish to do this rather quickly. Eden shakes his head and says, and all this are paid with slave money. I'm sure the Seven will not let us fail against such a foe.
Kieran looks down to the table again.
At this point, Alaric's probably heard like a few words from Eden and gone, "Oh yeah, he's just talking shit again."
He's just been Eden at this point, you know.
Yeah, we don't need to listen anymore.
Oh, Eden. Oh, you. Well, in that case, it seems that speed is of the essence. We need to go there and we need to find out what we have to work with, I guess.
Indeed.
If it comes to it, and the bridge is falling, so it leans forward a little bit. I want you all to ride home. Looks around. Eden sort of just shakes his head, looking a little sort of sad and maybe also a little sort of apologetic, as if he's thinking, don't do this to yourself. She looks to Ashra, says, this does not look like something we can do. And honestly, I feel we have done ours for this war. I am tired of all this fighting. And should the bridge fall into enemy hands, well, then it's only going to get bloodier in the Reach. If the need be, I will stay behind. To shield our escape.
Bree immediately looks towards Alaric with an I have no fucking clue how to respond to that look on her face. You better say something.
Dorian looks a little bit relieved, though he's trying to hide it. While Mansa just sort of, shrugs as in yeah, I'm going to be there with you. Sort of nonchalantly.
Alaric kind of gives the same look. Yeah.
Van kind of also looks like he doesn't really know how to respond to that.
This is, but until that happens, I suppose we have an objective ahead of us.
Kieran mumbles, if it happens, you mean? Right? Looks over to Ren.
Ren, he's just tapping and not commenting. Not even looking.
Bree abruptly stands up and says, "In that case, I shall prepare for our departure tomorrow."
We'll stand up as well. As Bree stands up first, disbanding the meeting, he'll go over and sort of put his hand on Ash's shoulder and say, "The singers will remember us for ages to come, old friend. It is more than we deserve." She'll give him sort of a kind smile. Dorian skulking a little bit out the door, standing there brooding, as Mansa just leans back, apparently sort of trying to grow content with the situation. Maybe focusing on other things than the number, and maybe just, the size. And
Alaric pours himself a big drink.
there's, of course, always wine here. From Yava.
Yeah, of course. It's high
Oh,
why
God.
wouldn't we?
I'll go and prepare myself.
It's wine that just a moon ago you could have sold all your things and still not have money for. And here you are, having it freely available on the table. How times have changed.
Looks over to Alaric as it keeps just shrugging.
Well, that's because Alaric knows that all too well. I could have sold all my damn things.
Yeah,
like my
it's like,
armor,
I
and
could have sold
Hugo.
everything.
This glass is for Hugo, and my son's dowry.
Not even tasting it, just
This
drinking
glass
it
is
like
for
water.
never having to deal with Bree again.
Ashra moves over here, strike cheeking, as he just leans in and pours himself a glass as well. To clink glasses with Alaric before he downs it all.
Yep.
Eden sort of huffing a bit. She,
Kieran would
so
have
if
made a
anyone
move.
needs me, I'll be in my quarters.
No one needs you, Eden. Go away. Kieran wasn't like starting to make a move towards Alaric, but when Ashra closed the distance, so to speak, he settles down a little bit again and sort of looks a little bit uncomfortable.
Sitting there with all his ring mail and fancy surcoat and everything.
Yep.
Perhaps not feeling as comfortable as he did a moment ago.
No, he's not ready to die yet.
So Varen says, so was it 2 moons we were gonna hold out, or
Tomorrow.
One
we
moon.
leave.
1 moon? Right.
We're holding it for half at least,
Yeah.
preferably 1.
You have noticed this sort of in the last couple of days. He has been forgetting things like numbers all of the time.
Kieran looks at him. Does he look drunk?
No.
Does he have a fresh head wound?
Not really fresh, but he did take a maul to the head during the
He
fight.
nods to himself. He knows. He
It
understands.
must be that.
Yep.
Gotta tell Rin, can you take another look at him? Because
Yes, I think, yeah.
9,000 men, huh?
And elephants. I
Yes.
don't even know what that is still.
Well, you'll
You
see
will.
soon enough, son.
They said a crossbow can do it. Is my bow
Well,
powerful enough, do you think?
About
We need
10
Try
crossbows.
20 or 30 arrows.
We need war pigs. Like war pigs.
Yeah.
with-
Yes,
like-
yes, war pigs.
War pigs.
Fix. Yes.
Problem is, if they
totally know about that.
if they do the elephants like the Romans did, they get those fuckers shit-faced before any fight.
Load up the elephant with alcohol and then just rush
Yes,
in.
they
in
soaked
a
the
way.
hay in beer and
We
the
stole all
hide.
this from the arbor. Look at it.
Yeah.
They just poured on the elephant hay.
And the elephants are
Elephant.
fucked.
Or wine pigs.
I know Alaric is like, no, an entire fortune to buy a kingdom.
You could
The
sell a
elephant.
keep for that.
Elephant bathes itself using the trunk to spray wine all over itself.
Yeah, the arbor is one of the reasons that the Stormlands haven't gone completely bankrupt, because the great logging areas of the Stormlands feed the arbor, who is almost stripped of its trees, with wood for their constant ship making.
Makes
Well,
sense.
the Lords of Red Wine wishing to be, as long as they have the greatest navy in all the realms, their land is completely and utterly safe.
Yep. It's much like how Great Britain took a look at things back when, you know, they had a great navy. Many, many years ago.
Let's not talk about Britain.
Whatever happens, we
The
always
next
have the
morning. Yeah. Maybe we
Sure,
can capture one.
We can go there if no one has any particular.
Kevin would like to speak to Alaric at some point. He
Sure.
will sort of hang
Asher
around
will
for like.
prefer to sit here and get drunk with Alaric, and then probably go
Yeah.
out in the town and be drunk with
Yeah.
Alaric later on. And just
Kevin
sort of,
will give them a sorrowful look and then maybe wait until Alaric.
you know, they will
Back
they
or
will they will
something.
offer him some wine too. I imagine.
Oh, yeah,
If he
yeah.
seems sorrowful, you know, come drink.
It's
He'll-
like, Larry's
sure.
like, fuck, join us. I don't...
Yeah.
Who cares?
You know,
Sure.
Asher nods and says, "You're a fellow knight. It's only right we should share."
Kevin moves closer a bit anxiously, nods and says, "Thanks."
Wine glass pushed over.
A very
Take a
big
sip.
wine glass. It's filled, like, right up to
Oh,
the brim.
I'll call for some refills. Let's see, then I'll allow you to be as he goes to ask for a keg or more bottles or something to be put up here. Perhaps this is as great a place as any. Now that the city is full of all sorts of provisioning and such, instead of its usual court.
Yeah.
Kevin looks over to Alaric and says, so Alaric, it's not really my place, and I know we have a lot of other things to think about, honestly. But I still sort of can't stop thinking about home a little bit, you know? Do you know?
Larry nods.
Have you heard anything? I haven't heard any news at all, except that letter.
But Larry shakes his head.
Kevin frowns. I don't know exactly what you answered back to Lord Lanus. What's going on? But I was thinking. I mean, I have. If you want some input from me, that is. I don't know. He doesn't seem to be very comfortable suggesting that Alaric, who is like Lord Commander of the Marshes, would need input from him.
Larry just listens. He's waiting.
My thinking is, well, so Alaric, the marshes they're stretched thin, and my thinking is that we would need the best people available to lead the defense, right? But the best people available are sort of here, like, I mean, in this room, right?
Larry nods.
And since we can't be there, maybe some suggestions to Lord Lanus would be a good idea. I mean, give him some pointers, perhaps. I don't know really how well versed he is in war, but he doesn't have the greatest reputation for it. And then he sort of stops himself, looking nervously at Alaric.
Larry's like nodding slowly, and he says, "It's true, but I trained the boy in the way of war."
Yes, I'm sure was a good student. I only mean that even swallows. I only mean, well, if it were me, as Alaric, I would suggest quite firmly to the Lord of the Marshes to put Lord Karen as the chief commander in your stead. Lord Karen, I mean, I've served under him. I know him very well. He is an excellent commander. He knows the enemy in a way that none of the other martial lords really do anymore. Most of the martial lords have lived in the peace, and he is definitely the best option.
Alaric nods and says, Lord Karen is a strong-headed man that knows that he is a good commander. With Lord Tarley coming here, presumably, he would be the best commander available for the marches, and I'm sure Lanus has the mind to put him in charge, if not directly, then by proxy. The boy's smart. He's not an idiot, and he doesn't put his ego in front of him.
He scratches the back of his neck again. All right, if you say so. I thought I'd just, share my thoughts on it. Lord Tarley's son doesn't have the best reputation, and sending him there in some sort of commanding position seems...
Alaric nods and says, Lanus is cautious of Sam, and although he's technically a cousin, I think the man is crazy and shouldn't be given any form of leading position, but I don't think anything he says will be taken too seriously.
Kieran nods. Okay, that's just my thought. He looks down in his glass, takes a sip,
Alaric nods and
shuffles in his
says,
seat a little bit.
I'll say, your thoughts are appreciated, and I'm glad that you think of home, even with such a daunting task ahead of us.
It's, it's just... I've lived there, all my life, and it's been threatened, and we're going in the opposite direction. It kind of doesn't sit too well with me, but... Yeah, can't really...
Sadly, without the Bitter Bridge, then they definitely won't hold any chance.
He looks at it, frowning. Yeah. I mean, everyone else just shrugs and seems to think that the Marshes will sort of succeed on their own. But I mean, you've seen the enemy. I've fought them before as well. I mean, many times. It's he sighs and looks at the Bitter Bridge map. And then we have this.
Alaric nods and says, the marches will hold as best they can, and will likely hold longer than any force can hold that stretch of land, with the few men that it has. I have great faith in them, even with the small number of men. By the time that the levies reach them, I think they'll still hold. Bitterbridge, on the other hand, will surely collapse without our intervention.
Yeah.
I at least have
Probably.
hope that the marches can hold. Whether it's a small chance, it's still a chance. Bitterbridge has none without it.
Kieran nods, and then slowly settles in, takes another sip, and says, "Well, we did the impossible once. Maybe we can do it again."
I would say we did the impossible twice. I mean, you got me through the Red Mountains and gestures to himself.
Kieran actually laughs. It did look pretty grim there for a bit, I gotta say. You're not the you're not the most graceful
Alaric
I've
grins.
seen. It's more, it's sort of Kieran, blushes a little bit, perhaps. Be so forward. He's not used to this whole thing of him and Alaric technically being of the same rank now.
Alara grins and he's enjoying that that Kievan's socially awkward in this situation. He finds it slightly amusing.
So Ashra turns with a servant girl who places like a cask of wine on the table. He says, yes, and also let me introduce you to Sir Kievan Rain. Winks at as Kievan as the girl sort of looks at him and says,
Kievan.
let's sit down, have a glass of wine. It's on me. We'll talk a little about what he has accomplished.
Kievan
It's a tremendous
swallows,
story.
looks around.
Alaric pats Kievan on the back.
Uh-oh.
Safe to say that Kievan is probably not going to escape that
No. Yeah.
in any easy way.
No, that's mm.
And this is why Ren left.
As the night goes on, you have a few more guests, and eventually perhaps you also move to different rooms and such. You can imagine how much Kievan participates, but he will certainly be pushed from both sides, so to speak. I think to
Poor Kievan.
engage in some gardening.
Ren is gonna see like Kievan tomorrow. Kievan's gonna be like, brother, you left me.
He's so exotic.
I am both terrified and amazed at what happened.
Ren will do his best to hold a poker face with his
Does
free
not have
defense.
enough status to know the words.
Kievan will be blushing for a week.
Yeah. Ashra has certainly written with a headache before of a ankle, and this will be that too, because you are indeed leaving very soon.